They're hiding something. And it's already too late to pretend you don't see it. If you're watching this, it's not a coincidence. Something is happening right now that most people can't explain, but you can feel it. At your job, in the economy, in the news, in how everything seems to be accelerating out of control. And this is where you need to pay attention. Because this didn't start today. Over 2,500 years ago, one man saw this moment with unsettling clarity. His name was Daniel, and what he wrote about this exact time was not a vague prediction. It was a warning. Daniel didn't speak about a distant date. He spoke about a pattern, and that pattern is repeating now, in 2026, right before your eyes. And this is what almost no one is telling you. Daniel described a period just before collapse, when everything would look normal. Governments would keep functioning. People would keep working, buying, living. But beneath that surface, something invisible would begin to break. And here's the disturbing part. Not everyone would notice. Most would only realize it when it was already too late. Daniel called it the days of knowledge, a time when information would explode, when people would run back and forth searching for answers, when technology would move faster than human wisdom. Let me ask you something. Does that sound familiar? Now listen carefully, because this is where many people leave, and where you shouldn't. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you something Daniel left written that almost no one knows about. It's not theory. It's not religious fear. It's a real advantage in the middle of chaos. Daniel saw that in this time, world powers would mix, but never truly unite. Treaties, alliances, global agreements, everything would look solid, but would be broken from within. He used a disturbing image, iron and clay trying to stick together. Impossible, destined to shatter. And then he saw something even more alarming. A system would rise promising order, promising solutions, promising security. And people would accept it because it would seem logical, because it would seem necessary, because it would seem like the only way out. But that system wouldn't bring peace. It would bring control. And by the time most people realized it, they would already be inside it. Now be honest with yourself. How many things have you accepted in the last few years that would have sounded impossible before? How many freedoms have you traded for security? How many times have you felt something wasn't right, but everyone around you acted like it was normal? That's exactly what Daniel warned about. And that's exactly where we are now. But here's the part that changes everything, and why you need to stay until the end. Daniel didn't just see collapse. He saw the way out. He left clear instructions, a hidden key inside the same text that speaks of fear. And it's not religious. It's practical. It's real. And it works. At the end of this video, I'm going to show you what it is, and what you need to do now, not tomorrow. Because what Daniel warned about for this time is not just destruction. It's also deliverance, but only for those who understand, only for those who act. Stay, because what comes next will show you why 2026 is not just another year, and why knowing this before it's too late changes everything. Don't turn off this video. Every second matters. Now let me show you something that's going to give you chills. And stay with me, because this connects directly to what's happening right now. In the year 605 BC, Daniel was in Babylon, exiled, far from his homeland. And one night, something happened that changed history. It wasn't his dream. It was King Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So violent it woke him up shaking. And Daniel was the only one able to interpret it. The king had seen a giant statue, shining, imposing, but broken, made of different materials. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, and clay. And Daniel told him something that shaped the world. That statue is you, and the kingdoms that will come after you. Each material represents an empire, each one weaker than the last, until the end. And do you know what material he described for the final kingdom? For our time, iron mixed with clay. Listen carefully, because this is the key. Iron is strong, clay is fragile, and when you mix them, they don't unite. They destroy each other. Daniel said this would be the final kingdom, a global power that would seem invincible, but would be broken on the inside, divided, unable to hold itself together. Then he said something even darker. They will mix through human alliances, but they will not unite, just as iron does not mix with clay. Think about it. Human alliances, treaties, global agreements, nations trying to work together while hating each other underneath. Interconnected economies that could collapse at any moment. Shared technology no one fully controls. Does that sound like anything you're seeing right now? Look at the last 5 years. A global pandemic that split the world. Wars igniting tensions between superpowers. Inflation destroying entire economies. Energy crises, food crises, and governments all saying the same thing. We need more control, more regulation, more unity. But that unity never comes, because it can't, because it's iron and clay, destined to break. And here's the part almost no one talks about. Pay attention, because this is where everything escalates. Daniel saw that right at that time. In the days of iron and clay, something else would come, something that would crush everything. He described it as a stone, not cut by human hands, that would strike the statue at its feet. At its weakest point, and the entire structure would collapse. Listen closely. That stone isn't a meteorite. It's not a natural disaster. It's a supernatural event, divine intervention. And Daniel was clear. It would happen in the days of the final kingdom, in the days of iron and clay, in our days. But there's something almost no one tells you, and you need to understand this before the end of the video. Daniel also wrote about what would happen just before that collapse. A time of distress, mass confusion, people running in search of knowledge, but without wisdom. He wrote, "Many will run back and forth, and knowledge will increase." Doesn't that describe your life right now? The internet, social media, 24/7 news, constant information. We run, we search, we scroll, we consume, but we're never at peace. And that's exactly what Daniel said would happen in the last days. Don't leave. Because what comes next is the most important part. In the next blocks, I'm going to show you something Daniel left hidden, something that tells you exactly what to do while everything collapses. Because Daniel didn't just see the problem. He saw those who would survive, a specific group who would understand what was happening, who wouldn't panic, who would know exactly what to do, and he left instructions for them. For you, if you're willing to listen. Because what's coming isn't just destruction, it's separation. Between those who see and those who don't. Between those who understand and those who sleep. Between those who prepare and those who get trapped. And you're here because something inside you knows this is real. That this isn't theory. That this isn't exaggeration. Stay, because what follows shows exactly how. Daniel described the world of 2026. And what you need to do now that you know. Don't leave. This is just the beginning. Now comes the part that's going to freeze you. Because what Daniel wrote isn't vague. It's not symbolic. It's specific. And when you connect his words with what's happening right now in 2026, everything makes sense in a terrifying way. Listen to this. Daniel spoke of a time when kingdoms would mix through human seed. That phrase sounds strange, right? But look at what it really means. Political marriages. Alliances of convenience. Forced unions that were never real. Now look at the world today. United States with Europe. Europe with Asia. China with Russia. Everyone making deals. Everyone signing papers. Everyone promising cooperation. But underneath, hatred, distrust. Each one playing their own game. And that's exactly iron and clay. They look united on the surface. But at the first tremor, they shatter. And you know what else Daniel said? He said that in that time there would be an increase of knowledge, not wisdom, knowledge, data without discernment. Think about this. Never in human history have we had so much information available. Artificial intelligence writing articles, algorithms deciding what you see, deepfakes so real you can't tell truth from lie, contradictory news every hour. Everyone knows something. But no one knows what's true. Daniel saw it 2,500 years ago, and he wrote it down. But here's what's really going to shake you, and I need you to be completely focused, because this is critical. Daniel also spoke of a leader, a ruler, who would rise in the last days of the kingdom of iron and clay, a man who would come promising solutions, who would speak with smooth words, who would offer peace, and people would follow him, not by force, by choice, because it would seem logical, because it would seem like the only way out of chaos. Daniel said that leader through peace will destroy many. Read that again. Through peace, not through war, through peace. Doesn't that give you chills? Because right now, in 2026, all the governments in the world are saying the same thing. We need more cooperation. We need more unity. We need a global system to protect us. And most people accept it because they're afraid, because they want security, because they want someone to fix the mess. But Daniel warned that this desire for security would be exactly what would trap people, that the same system promising protection would be the one taking away freedom. And here's the most chilling part of all. Daniel didn't just see this pattern. He saw the exact moment when everything would change, when the system would go from optional to mandatory, when the doors would close, when you couldn't get out even if you wanted to. He described it as a time of distress such as never was. And he said something else, something almost no one mentions, but that's absolutely crucial. He said that just before that moment there would be a sign, a final warning, a last chance for those who were paying attention. And you know what that sign was? A change in the commerce system, a change in how people buy and sell, a change so big that without accepting it, you couldn't participate in the economy. Read the book of Daniel chapter 12, then read Revelation chapter 13, and then look in the mirror and ask yourself, how much closer can we be? Central digital currencies, digital identities, social credit systems, everything connected, everything tracked, everything controlled, and most people accept it because it's convenient, because it's modern, because everyone's doing it. But Daniel saw this, and he warned there would come a point where you couldn't reverse it, where you'd be so deep in the system that leaving would mean losing everything. And here's the question you need to ask yourself right now. At what point are we? Because I'm going to tell you something Daniel made very clear. And this is what separates those who survive from those who don't. He said there would be two groups of people in the last days. Those who understand and those who don't understand, those who see the trap and those who walk straight into it, those who act while there's time and those who wait until it's too late. And the difference between those two groups wasn't intelligence. It wasn't money. It wasn't power. It was attention. It was discernment. It was the ability to see what's happening while others are distracted. And you're here, watching this, while millions are scrolling cat videos or chasing empty trends. That's not a coincidence, but I need you to understand something. And this is critical for what's coming in the next blocks. Daniel didn't just leave warnings, he left a plan. He left specific steps. He left spiritual and practical survival. Instructions that work no matter how bad everything gets. And at the end of this video, I'm going to reveal exactly what that plan is. I'm going to show you what Daniel told the wise ones. I'm going to give you the keys he left written for those who are awake in the last days. Because this doesn't end in fear. It ends in power, but only if you stay until the end. Don't turn this off now. We're about to get to the part that changes everything. Here's what you need to know right now, and pay attention, because this is what no one else is going to tell you. Daniel didn't write his book just to warn. He wrote it to prepare, and he left exact instructions for the people who would be alive in the last days. For you. But first you need to understand something crucial. In Daniel chapters 11 and 12, there's a conversation that changes everything. Daniel is seeing these terrifying visions of the future. He sees the chaos. He sees the collapse. He sees the leader who will deceive the masses. And he's devastated. He weeps. He trembles. He can't process what he's just seen. And then he asks something desperate. What will be the end of these things? It's the question you're asking right now too, isn't it? How does this end? Is there a way out? Or are we doomed to live through the worst? And here's the answer he was given. Listen to it word for word, because it's pure gold. Go your way, Daniel. For the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end. Many shall be purified, made white and refined. But the wicked shall do wickedly. and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand. Read that again. The wise shall understand. It doesn't say the rich. It doesn't say the powerful. It doesn't say the connected. It says the wise, the people who pay attention, the people who see what others ignore. And then it says something even more important, something that's your lifeline in the middle of all this chaos. It says that in that time, in the final days of iron and clay, there would be purification. There would be cleansing. There would be people who would go through the distress, but come out refined, not destroyed, refined. And you know what that means in practical language? It means what's coming isn't the end for you. It's a test. It's a filter. It's a separation between those who trust the system and those who trust something greater. Daniel saw that the wise would do something specific while everything collapses. And this is absolutely key. He wrote, "Those who are wise shall instruct many." Wait, did you see that? It doesn't say they'll flee. It doesn't say they'll hide. It says they'll instruct. They'll teach. They'll help others understand. That means in the middle of chaos, there will be awakened people guiding those who are confused. There will be voices of clarity in the middle of noise. There will be light in the middle of darkness. And if you're watching this video this far, it's because you're one of them, or you're about to be. But Daniel also warned something harsh, something you need to hear even though it hurts. He said the wise shall fall for a time, that they'll be tested, that they'll go through pressure, that the system will come against them. Why? Because they represent a threat, because they can't be controlled, because they see the lie and call it by its name. And here's the part that has to give you hope. Daniel said that fall would be to refine them, purify them and make them white, until the time of the end. Until the time of the end. That means there's a limit, that the suffering isn't eternal, but that there's an end point where everything changes, where the stone strikes the feet of the statue, where the system collapses, where the wise are vindicated. And that moment is closer than you think. But until that moment arrives, Daniel left specific instructions. And here they are. Listen with your whole being. First, understand the times. Daniel said those who have understanding will comprehend. That means you need to study. You need to investigate. You need to connect the dots. You can't live in ignorance and expect to survive what's coming. Second, don't contaminate yourself with the system. Daniel himself did this in Babylon. He refused to eat the king's food. He refused to bow to idols. He stayed separate, even though he lived in the middle of the empire. And that's exactly what you need to do now. Live in the world, but not be of the world. Participate where necessary, but never compromise your soul. Third, prepare spiritually. Daniel prayed 3 times a day. He fasted. He sought revelation. He didn't depend on his own wisdom. He depended on something greater. And you need to do the same. Because what's coming can't be navigated with human logic. You need divine guidance. You need supernatural discernment. Fourth, help others awaken. Daniel didn't keep the revelation to himself. He shared it. He instructed. He warned. He prepared others. And you need to do the same. Share this video. Talk to your family. Warn your friends. Don't let the people you love walk blind into the trap. But here's the most important thing. And I need you to hear it completely, because this is what will sustain you when everything gets dark. Daniel saw the end. He saw beyond the collapse. He saw what comes after the destruction. And he wrote this, "At that time Michael shall stand up, the great prince who stands watch over the sons of your people, and many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Those who are wise shall shine like the brightness of the firmament, and those who turn many to righteousness, like the stars forever and ever." Read that again. Those who are wise shall shine. It doesn't say they'll die. It doesn't say they'll be destroyed. It says they'll shine. Like stars, forever. That means what's coming isn't your end. It's your beginning. It's your moment to shine when everything else goes dark. But you need to prepare now. Not tomorrow. Not next week, now. Because Daniel left a final warning. And this is the one that should keep you up at night. He said there would come a moment when time would run out, when there would be no more opportunity to prepare, when the doors would close. And that moment is closer than most can imagine. Stay with me for the last block, because I'm going to reveal exactly what to do in the next 24 hours. I'm going to give you the specific steps Daniel left hidden, and I'm going to show you the final key that separates those who survive from those who don't. Don't leave now. This is too important. All right, you've made it this far, and that means something. While millions are distracted, you're awake. While others ignore the signs, you're seeing them. And now I'm going to give you what I promised from the beginning. The key Daniel left hidden. The secret that changes everything. But first you need to understand this. Daniel wrote his book on two levels. One for everyone, and another for those who have eyes to see. And what I'm about to reveal now is from the second level. It's what's hidden in plain sight. In Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, there's a direct instruction, an order, and it says this, "But you, Daniel, shut up the words, and seal the book until the time of the end." Did you see that? Until the time of the end. That means there's information in that book that can only be understood when you're living in the last days. Information that 100 years ago made no sense. But now, in 2026, it's crystal clear. And here's that information. Daniel spoke of a time, times, and half a time. He spoke of 1,190 days. He spoke of 1,335 days. Specific numbers. Exact time frames. And for centuries, no one knew what they meant. But now we know. Those numbers aren't random dates. They're time warnings. They're countdowns. And they're directly connected to global events that have already begun. Look at what happened in recent years. Global pandemic in 2020, 3 years of chaos, wars, inflation, crisis after crisis. And now, in 2026, we're at a turning point. Coincidence? No, it's the pattern Daniel described. It's the exact sequence he saw. But here's the part no one else is going to tell you. And you need to burn this into your mind. Daniel wrote, "Blessed is he who waits, and comes to the 1,335 days. Blessed, the one who waits." That means there's a group of people who are going to make it to the other side, who are going to survive the distress, who are going to see the collapse of the system, and who are going to be standing when it's all over. And you know what separates those people from the rest? It's not luck. It's not money. It's not political power. It's preparation. It's discernment. It's active faith. And here are the exact steps you need to take now. Today, not tomorrow, today. Step 1, disconnect from mass thinking. Daniel lived in Babylon, but never thought like a Babylonian. He lived in the system, but was never of the system. And you need to do the same. Stop believing everything they tell you on the news. Stop blindly following trends. Stop accepting narratives without questioning them. Start thinking for yourself. Start investigating. Start seeing with your own eyes. Step 2, protect your autonomy. The coming system depends on your dependence. It depends on you needing its services. It depends on you not being able to function without it. So start reducing that dependence now. Learn practical skills. Build real relationships with real people. Don't put all your trust in technology that can be shut off with a click. Daniel knew how to pray. He knew how to fast. He knew how to interpret dreams. He had skills no one could take from him. And you need the same. Step 3, strengthen your spiritual connection. This is the most important. And listen carefully, because this is what will sustain you when everything else fails. Daniel didn't survive the lion's den because of his intelligence. He survived because of his faith. He didn't interpret the king's dreams because of his education. He interpreted them through divine revelation. And you need that same connection. You need a real relationship with God, not empty religion, not meaningless ritual, real connection, real communication, real faith. Because what's coming can't be overcome with human strategy. It's overcome with divine power. Step 4, share what you know. Daniel said the wise would instruct many. That means your knowledge isn't just for you. It's for those you love. It's for your family. It's for your friends. It's for anyone who has ears to hear. Share this video. Talk to people. Wake up those who are sleeping. Because every person you wake up is one less person trapped in the lie. And step 5, stand firm no matter what. Daniel faced the lion's den and didn't back down. His friends faced the fiery furnace and didn't bow. And you're going to face pressure too. They'll call you crazy. They'll call you an extremist. They'll call you paranoid. They'll tell you you're exaggerating. But don't back down, because what you see is real, what you feel is valid, and what Daniel wrote is being fulfilled before your eyes. Now let me tell you something you need to hear. This isn't the end of the world. It's the end of a system. And there's a massive difference. Daniel saw the collapse of Babylon. He saw the collapse of Persia. He saw the collapse of Greece. He saw the collapse of Rome. And each time it seemed like everything was ending. But it didn't end. It transformed. And the same is going to happen now. The system of iron and clay is going to collapse. The false order is going to fall. Global control is going to break. But you don't have to fall with it, because Daniel also saw what comes after. He saw a kingdom that wouldn't be made by human hands. A kingdom that would fill the whole earth. A kingdom of justice, peace, and truth. And that kingdom is closer than you think. But until it arrives, you have work to do. You have to prepare. You have to wake up. You have to stand firm. And you have to remember what Daniel wrote at the end of everything. But you go your way till the end. For you shall rest, and will arise to your inheritance at the end of the days. Go your way till the end. That means you're going to keep going no matter what. You're going to keep standing when others fall. You're going to keep walking when others give up. You shall rest. That means you'll have peace in the middle of the storm. You'll have rest in the middle of chaos. You'll have confidence in the middle of uncertainty. And you will arise. That means when it's all over, you'll be on the right side. You'll be among those who survived. You'll be among those who understood. That's the promise. That's the plan. That's the destiny of those who have eyes to see. And you're here because you're one of them. Now take this information and use it. Don't store it. Don't ignore it. Act on it. Because Daniel warned about 2026, and we're here. And everything he saw is happening now. But he also left the way out. And you just learned it. So rise up, prepare, stand firm. Because what's coming isn't your end. It's your beginning.